Hi, Sean.
I talked to you yesterday.
Good. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes.
A great host. Sean is great. Listen to his show.
Absolutely, 95.5.
One mic. All I need is one mic. That's all I need.
Hey! Shelley Winter Show, ladies and gentlemen, live, local, topical, and relevant. As you know, tonight is Monday, so we are only on the air till 8 o'clock. A Coach's Show comes on at 8 o'clock, so keep it locked here for the next hour, if you will. I want to start here. I said on Friday I did not want to continue to talk about this story pretty much unless there was something new to report, the Minnesota shooting. And I think we've killed it, if you will, meaning the story. We've talked about everything about it. And then this weekend, and I'll get to this weekend, but then this weekend, I saw a number of Facebook posts, a number of podcasters, a number of television hosts, if you will, or television talkers, talking heads, who had moved on. So this shooting happened, right? It started with she didn't comply, and then it drifted to she used the car as a weapon. And this is all, we can debate that. We've done that on this show, so we're not going to go back down those roads. But then this weekend I saw something that really troubled my spirit. Not my opinion, not my spirit. Inside of me, it really troubled me. And I saw a number of people who essentially said she made a deliberate choice that led to her death. Right, effectively abandoning her children. One lady said a good mother would be home with her children, and questioned Mrs. Good, if whether she was a good mother or not, because she was allegedly not with her children, two of her children. And they started questioning this mother as a mother, that she should have thought about being a mom before she went out to protest. And I thought, wow, this is troubling to me. Like, how do people do this? And it really troubled my spirit when I saw people openly questioning whether or not this woman was a good mother because she had a conviction and was protesting something she truly believed in. Now, I'm not talking about the protest itself, right? It's not my issue. Okay, my issue is with deporting people that have been here 20 years and they've raised families. These families have gone on to college. These children are working. They're in some cases military people. They've joined the military. These people are ingrained into the culture. They become Americans. They're just illegal. But they've been here for a very long time, never crossed paths with the law, never done anything wrong. And that's where this thing, for me, I'm bothered by. Getting rid of the criminals, the sodomites, and the child molesters, and the child rapists, and the gangbangers, get them out of here. Heck, waste no time. But there's some people being mixed up in there that I don't agree with. But I'm not going to go protest it. It's not that huge for me, but I understand that's one of the pushbacks that I have. But to question this woman in death now, she's dead, to question whether or not she's a good mother because she's protesting something and her kids were in school while she was protesting, I thought was a step too far. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about several people throughout history who essentially did the same thing. Viola Liuzzo was a woman living in Michigan who had a husband and children. And she saw what was going on during the civil rights movement. And she told her husband and her family, I need to do something. I have to get involved. Something must be done. I want to help. And she packed her bags up and drove from Michigan to the Deep South. She was murdered. She was taking two civil rights workers from one part of town to another so they can get some rest and wake up the next morning and continue to register voters. And a car pulled up alongside and fired into the car, killing her. People said about her, she should have stayed home. She should have been taking care of her family. She should have been a good wife and been with her husband. But she had a conviction. She wanted to help. John Brown, the famous abolitionist, his entire family was involved in raiding of Harper's Ferry. His entire family. He lost sons. The Gees, her and her husband, Miep Gees and her husband, they hid Anne Frank and her family in Amsterdam during the occupation by the Nazis, putting their entire family, their home and everything at risk of certain death if they ever got caught. Then there's the story of C.P. Ellis. Maybe you don't know this gentleman. C.P. Ellis was the head of the Klan in Durham, North Carolina. And he became good friends with Ann Atwater, who was an organizer trying to fight for integration of the schools there. And he was the head of the Klan and completely changed his thinking. They became friends for the rest of their lives. C.P. Ellis lost his business, lost his family. It impacted his family, but he did what he felt was he was convicted to do: help others get into this fight, because it was the right fight to get into. Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner, two New York City college students who left New York City in college, safety of New York City, to come to the Deep South to help the Freedom Riders. James Chaney was from Meridian, Mississippi. He's African-American. The two white kids, all three of them found dead in the Mississippi River. Killed. What about the coffins? The coffins, Levi Coffin was the label that it gave him was president of the Underground Railroad. He owned land. He diagrammed and laid out the Underground Railroad for enslaved people to escape. Put everything on the line. His entire family's farm, land, everything on the line for something they believed in. Now, I'm not comparing Nazi Germany or slavery times or the civil rights movement to illegal immigration. I'm not doing that, so don't try and charge me with that. What I'm doing is I'm comparing the people and their convictions to help someone else to get and become part of a cause. I don't think it's fair in any way, shape, or form to, in death, blame Renee Good for, one, her own death, and number two, to say she wasn't a good mother because she left her children to protest. That's evil. It's just as evil as the people who blamed Erica Kirk after Charlie Kirk was murdered and somehow said what she's doing now. Oh, she's out in the public eye. She shouldn't be there. What's she doing? Why is she hugging J.D. Vance like that? All of this silly stuff. It's evil. Have a heart. One of the problems that we have on the right, and one of the reasons why we can't bring more people into our tent, and I hear this all the time, it's not policy, because a lot of people understand the policies. It's not policy. It's not our candidates. It's not that. We have good candidates. We have great policies. We have great ideas. Do you know what one of the number one reason when I go out there and try and convince people to vote conservative or to become conservative or to look at the conservative way of life or to vote Republican, do you know what people tell me? The number one thing people tell me why they can't in many cases? They look me in the eye and they say, Shelley, many of the people on your side have no heart. They seemingly do not care about their fellow man. That's what they tell me from their own mouths. Yes, I agree with this policy. I agree with shutting down the border. I agree with less taxes. But I can't get on the side of people who seemingly do not care about other humans, especially when they've been killed, especially when they're dead. That's what they say to me. Maybe we should become more human on our side of the fence. The people like the policies. The people agree with us on the ideas. What they don't like is who we are as people sometimes. And sometimes I can't blame them. 404, oh no, we're not taking a number. It's a Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.